Hey there, it's Derek from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan. This is a 1993 Honda Beat. Honda Beat is a little K-class car with a mid-engine, 5-speed manual, and revs to 8,500 RPM. It puts out 64 horsepower for the 0.66 liter engine, and so that's 100 horsepower per liter, and no VTEC in this either, and so this was quite a feat. It's one of the three most popular K-class cars. This, the Cappuccino, and the AZ1 are probably the most common three. Not most common three, most popular three, pardon me. And this one's been modified to become something of a race car. The car was bought from auction here in Japan for export to the USA. And this is a post-purchase inspection video. Now I'm going to go over the auction inspection sheet here. I'm going to translate that for you. But before I do that, I just want to put down these hoods so you can see what the car looks like as per normal. I wanted to leave them up to show you a couple of things on the car before I do that. And so in here, this is a color changed car. It looks like it was originally red, because you can see some red in there. But most everything has been painted white. Some things better than others, as you can see underneath the hood was not painted that well. And also makes a good home for bees. It's the Beat. And really, I just made that up there on the spot. I wasn't planning for that. So adjustable suspension you can see in here. Also, make your own strut tower braces. Take a look. This one here is an off-the-shelf one, but they have braces from the suspension strut down to the headlight support there, all the way across there. Got another one down there. Relocation of the battery to the front, because it usually goes in the back, and an extra brace there, and an extra brace there. This is the first car I've ever seen with custom homemade little strut tower braces. Kind of cool, actually. I like how they're tightening it all up, because that makes a big difference on a racetrack. And probably a lot of those parts either would be really expensive or not available if you wanted to tighten it up that much. So close this up. Okay, and go to the rear. The back section here also has a strut tower brace in here, and you can see the itty-bitty little trunk that you get in one of these. That's probably the only downside of it, that and the fact that it's pretty loud. And this one here is going to be louder than other ones because it has a cool, twisty, custom dual exhaust. Have a look at that. And now that you're done having a look at that, I'm going to shut the engine off because it is kind of a loud engine. These are like the NSX for people that want to spend a third as much as an NSX. I guess when they were brand new cars, they were a third as much maybe. Well, I don't know. Let's see. The NSX, how much was that? About 4.5 million? This would have been about $1 million, so maybe a quarter or a little bit less than a quarter. Okay, so here's what it looks like. These are wicked little cars to see on the street because they're so tiny and they make such a loud screaming sound at their 8,000 RPM that people are just like, they don't know what hit them. This one also looks great with the white on the white wheels. Very cool. That's an aftermarket spoiler, aftermarket side skirts, an aftermarket front bumper lip, and lip. Look at that. There's a lip with a lip on the bottom of the lip. Cool. Okay, wheels are SSR wheels. Nice 6-spoke design. A thinner and lighter design than the TE37s. These ones suit the car perfectly. And this is an open top 2-seater convertible. Now this one looks like it has a problem opening the top. The clips work properly, but it doesn't sit itself down the way that it should. Now I've already undone the clips in the back. It's easy like to just do it like that, but it doesn't look like it sits down far enough. And that might have something to do with this. No, it looks like the roll cage doesn't have any problem. Oh, maybe this carpeting in here that bunches up. I'm not 100% sure, but it has a multi-point roll bar here. So the back has 4 points, plus a cross member there that you can put your seatbelts on, plus 1 point that goes up to the front and attaches on to the top of the windshield there. I've never seen a roll cage quite like that, and I quite like it. And so I've seen these before. That back section there, it squishes down a lot more than that usually. And so something's catching. Okay, let's have a look at the auction inspection sheet here. So this is a 1993 Beat. It's an auction grade R because it's been in an accident. And then Keep in mind, this information here is what's given to the buyer before they purchase this one. Of course, as with all of our cars, pretty much, has been bought on behalf of somebody. This isn't an inventory car of ours. So 128, 935 kilometers, 5-speed manual transmission. Very cool. It has an Integra DC2 Type R shift knob. One of the best shift knobs ever. But if you like not having burnt hands, don't use it because it gets really hot. So that's the only downside, but the weight of it is just perfect. Color change to white, it says here. Purchase from user, SSR Type C 15-inch wheels. Has exhaust manifold, that's something I didn't notice. So a Mugen exhaust manifold, adjustable suspension kit. That way you can lower and raise it if you want, or change the dampening. Metal cat, or catalytic converter. Fields exhaust, and you can see Fields logo here. Also Mugen RR sticker, makes it cut faster. What? And then the strut tower braces on the front and rear were both Fields as well. Roll cage in here, Defi water gauge, and oil temperature gauge. Comes with history papers of 2011, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, and in 2015 at 97,049 kilometers, the timing belt was replaced. They got a history paper for that. Okay, color change car, front accident repaired, and most of the comments here are about accident damage. Now, looking at it, it doesn't look bad. It does have some things. Headlight on this side is pretty much okay, but if you look at the alignment on this side, it's a little bit off. But I'd say as a whole, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I read all the comments, and I was a little bit nervous about this car, as I sometimes get when we bid on cars. It turns out better than I thought it would be. Okay, so interior wear, scratch, dirty, modifications, and aftermarket parts on the car. Seat is saggy and ripped with cover on it. The soft top is ripped, and the carpet in the car has been removed, a la race car. Now, I'm just going to... There's a lot here, so I don't want to miss anything. The soft top, so easy to open and close. It has ripped stitching here, which you can stitch yourself again. The only rip that I can find in the actual hard soft top is right here. And that's not something that makes it leak. Although it did have some like towels in here, so it might have some leaking problems, but there's no smell of no smell of mold or water, sitting water inside. Also, the black that's on here that you can see is cracking, that's on so many of these Beats. I don't know why, but that black always cracks. Okay, so back to this. Oh, seat rip. I should go do that. I'm going to look like I'm so disorganized when I'm doing this. Usually the cars that we buy don't have so many comments on them. So here's a rip. Now, this seat rips very easily. They have a cool zebra design, but these are seat covers, and so I can't actually show you. And then it rips here because there's a metal piece that kind of sticks out. As you can see, it's a little bit sharp, and that tends to rip the seat very easily. And so seats without rips in them, pretty hard to find. And then there are a low profile seat that fits in this small car quite nicely. And as you can see, it actually fits with the full roll cage seat in the full back position, which is not always the case for these K cars. Sometimes the roll bar in it takes up some of the space that otherwise you could use for legroom. Okay, so right front inner panel, left front inner panel section are bent. Left front side member and front support are bent. Left rear side member section, one part is dented. Various scratches, dents, aftermarket parts, and modifications to the car. Left baffle has been replaced and the jack and tools are missing. Now looking at the body here, has the hood and the two front fenders replaced. Has AUS1 here on the door. I'm going to show you that. The C1 over here. I couldn't find the C1, and that's a little bit weird because C1 is corrosion, but I couldn't find any corrosion on this back fender. Then the back says paint peeling and Y3. Y3 is a crack. Okay, so the S1 would be rust. That's right here. Very mild. Nothing I would worry about at all. C1, couldn't find it. A back bumper. Here you can see the paint crack. And then the inserts here have been cut out. So usually there's a line that goes in between them, but they've been cut out. I don't think that they do any good for cooling or aero or anything like that. I think it was done for design. and then look for the rust and don't find it, because as far as I can see it's not there. And so that's a nice plus. It is dirty. See these black lines? Cars in Japan get that. Soft top is good, as I already kind of mentioned. And then this is an aftermarket rear wing, and I like it. I like the look of this rear wing. I don't know the name of this. Might be a Mugen part. These cars came out in early 90s, which would have been kind of the hot time for Mugen parts. Okay, that's basically everything on here. So I'm going to do the once around just so you can see the car from all different angles, and then we'll go to the interior. So they're not really fast cars, but the fact that you can go around corners incredibly fast in these and get good acceleration out of the corner because you have the engine on top of the rear wheels, makes for cars that are deceptively fast. So if you're a good driver, you can take one of these to a track and you can embarrass cars that are much faster than these. And then you can laugh at them and go, haha, I beat you because I have more skill than you. And there are a lot of people like that. If it's a fast car and they don't know how to drive yet, they're going to be pretty slow in that fast car. That's functional air intake for the back, for the engine that's in there. Okay, so door cards are Plastic City. Alright. And inside the interior, not an awful lot to say here. Carpets have been removed. It has an aftermarket floor mat in there. I think you have a reasonable amount of space in these. About the same as the Cappuccino, maybe a little bit more in the Beat. That's the original gauge set there. And you can see the mileage of 129,038 at the time of shooting this. These are extra gauges. I'll just turn those on. Turn on, turn on. AC doesn't work. Wasn't mentioned on the auction inspection sheet. It might work. Sometimes the AC works once you drive it, but it is not strong enough at idle. That's what it seems like. That might be the case on this one. Cool, shift now. And shifting is really easy in this, and so no problem with that. In fact, it does feel very Integra Type R-like, come to think of it. You see carpets have been taken out down there, and down there, and Razzo floor pedals, yeah. And Advanova AD08R. Those are the same tires that we had when we went to the track last week. Woo! Oh, and those are fantastic tires. And on a car like this, I don't think you would be able to skid if you stomped on the brakes as hard as you could, or accelerated as hard as you could in a corner, because they're almost magical tires. Okay, so that's basically the end of this video. I'll clip this in after the video is done. The window is up, so I'll just tuck that in. Time to be tucked in. And so I'm glad to see this one's better than I thought it would be. And so that's basically the end of this video. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much everyone for watching, and have a nice day.